Hey folks, Jim Thomas here, Fitness Management and Consulting, and I appreciate you being here at the channel today. And for those of you that have not yet done so, please hit that subscribe button. I appreciate it. And if you find the information beneficial, please hit that like button as well. Now, our topic for you today, it's 15 unmistakable qualities of a bad gym manager. Okay? I'm sure we've all had them, right? Managers that just weren't quite up to what we needed. And I want to talk about a couple things here before I jump into this. Number one, the core definition of management, okay, from where I sit, is we want to create an atmosphere that allows a motivated person to act. That's what we're trying to do. We want to create an atmosphere that allows a motivated person to act. Now, I'm going to go through 15 things that may not create that atmosphere, but also when we're looking at these, are we doing some of these? Do some of these define you? Good people can make some mistakes sometimes. Let's just fix them, okay? And some folks that are working really hard, have really good attitudes, can't quite understand sometimes why they struggle. Or even management, they're moving managers from club to club, and man, I thought they would do so well. Well, we need to train them. Too often folks that get into management, the reason they get into management in the fitness business is because they were good in sales, and that's got little to do with being a good manager. I mean, if it can be, great. I mean, I happened to pull that one off. I was good in sales, got promoted, not because I knew a single thing about management. I didn't. I had to learn it. But once I did, boy, it was great having the management skill, but also having the selling skill. Ended up being a perfect combination. It's not necessary, though. Okay, you can be good in management without necessarily being a great salesperson. So let's talk about 15 unmistakable qualities of a bad gym manager. Number one, they take credit for others' work. Okay, somebody else is doing all the work, and they're taking credit for it. So, look at yourself here. If this is you, okay, that's really what we're talking about. What somebody else is doing, we can't necessarily control that. But if you're kind of looking at your situation, are you a manager? Do you want to be? Do we make that mistake? Because part of the job of a manager, let's make somebody else the star. Let's make them the hero. Particularly if you're a salesperson, salespeople, they feed off being that star. And it's one of the challenges sometimes when that salesperson becomes a manager. Salesperson, we're a star. As a manager, we're helping somebody else become that star. Sometimes it sounds bad, takes credit for others' work. Sometimes it can be a little bit of an innocent mistake sometimes, but, takes credit for other people's work, number one. Number two, doesn't show appreciation or give recognition to others. Show appreciation. If you don't, you're not creating that atmosphere you're looking for. And if this is one of the things we struggle with, you've heard me talking, I'm sure before, more than once. Hey, thank you for that sale. Hey, I appreciate it, regardless of what it was. I can think of a time when I was easily the number one salesperson, and it's 10 o'clock at night, and we're sitting at zero. I'm a guy that does 100 a month, and we're sitting at zero on a Thursday night. And boy, that manager, he had every right to be irate at me, but he wasn't. And I stuck around just because I really didn't want to leave. I was the guy playing the violin of the Titanic. I was going down with the ship. And lo and behold, prospect comes walking in like 10:30 at night. Hey, can I still look around? I know it's late. Manager asked me if I would do it. I did it. I took him through. And I think he ended up writing a check for $3,000 for a program that we had, and kind of low sales volume, but it was a good cash number for what we were looking to do. And it was a great number. And one of the impressions I have that'll last with me forever and ever is we got done, and he said, Jim, I know it was a tough day for you. It was a tough day for me, but hey, he sticks out his hand. He goes, Jim, I appreciate you sticking around. I appreciate that sale. It made me want to work even harder. Okay, for that person. So number two, we don't show appreciation. Number three, we micromanage. And really, what does that mean? We don't value the input of somebody else. Is really what that means. We micromanage. So, we want to value other people's input, right? This is how we grow and how we develop. But, some of the characteristics of these bad managers is, they don't value the input of others. They micromanage. Number four, we're unable to trust. And we kind of get some blurred lines on some of this, but they really don't trust. They're a control freak. They want to do everything themselves. Okay, and if you want to do big numbers, you want to do great numbers, man, you got to get a great team around you, and then let's put that team to work. Okay, we got to learn to trust, and sometimes it has to be earned. Okay, in part. Okay, but you can gradually work your way through that. But these bad managers that are control freaks and want to control everything, you'll never really develop, and you'll end up having high turnover. In your gym. Number 5, they play favorites. See this a lot, okay, is we simply have people we like and we play favorites. And that's not going to build the trust. It's not going to build the loyalty. It's not going to build that desire really to go out there and give that extra, to get the sales that you're looking for. Number 6, they do not provide clear or realistic direction. I mean, realistic, you have to believe in what you can do, right? But there has to be a clear direction on how we're going to do this. You just can't show up and, hey, I'm going to do it. I mean, I can think of literally taking over clubs, and when I'm in there because they're not working, right? And there's no telephone inquiry sheet at the front desk, so I get a telephone inquiry sheet set up, and I tell the front desk person, here's how this is going to work. Here's your responsibility. There's no guest register. I had to go hunt down the guest register. So here's the guest register. Here's how this is going to work. Here's how we're going to utilize the needs analysis. Here's how this process is going to work. I want to meet every non-member that comes in. I'm going to give real clear direction and realistic direction on how this is done. We're not going to show up and we're the Keystone Cops, okay, on how we're going to do this. So clear and realistic direction. Number 7, that bad manager, they're unavailable and they avoid the tough conversations. They just never have time to talk. There's no open door policy, and they'll defer to somebody else. Okay, let's make sure this is not us. Okay, let's make sure this is not us. And if we're not sure, we feel uncomfortable on some of this, practice some of these things. And one of the things I would suggest, and a lot of clubs already do it, but use our channel here, use our YouTube channel here as a way to train. As a way to train folks on how to manage, on how to sell, how to train yourself. Listen to a video a day, 2 videos a day, sit down and discuss it. Okay, and then start putting it into action. Okay, and then just review it over and over. It's like working out. You have to do it on a regular basis if you want to get the results that you're looking for. Number 7 on our list is lack of empathy or compassion. I've always felt that one of the great advantages that I had as someone who trains salespeople, among other things, is that I started off really bad, and so I really had to learn it. And I know what it feels like to be dead last out of 4 clubs, and that production sheet comes out, and I'm sitting down there at nothing, and it looks terrible. But I also know what it's like to be at the very top. And I can have compassion for that person that's struggling, because I've been there, and I know how that feels, but I also know the way out. I know how to help you, and I know how to help you do it and still make you feel good about yourself, because a lot of times there is fear in being in sales. Well, I don't want to be too pushy. But there's right ways and wrong ways to do everything. So these bad managers, they lack empathy. They lack compassion. Number 9 is we're unable to listen or respond to feedback. I mean, this is one of the hallmarks of great people is we actually respond to feedback and we say, well, maybe that feedback's right, okay? But folks that are struggling at this, and if you're someone who's evaluating a manager, how do they handle, feedback? How do they really listen? Are they just, as it's been said, waiting for their turn to talk? Or are they really listening, and are they really responding to the feedback that they get from members, from staff? Because, staff, they can give you some great input if we'll just be willing to listen sometimes. Okay. Number 10, they don't lead by example. Gosh, I mean, this could be, wearing a name tag, being in uniform, being on time, following the process, having the attitude, communicating well. I see this a lot. What's interesting is because we do a lot of work in the fitness industry. We do a lot of work with, martial arts organizations, cryotherapy groups, but also in youth sports. And one of the things that I see quite a bit of is, coaches and trainers and teachers, they're giving all this advice, but they're not doing that themselves. I mean, I was talking to someone the other day. We were talking about the power of just thinking bigger, because it cost us nothing to think bigger, and then put together an action plan to match this new think. Okay, it's a pretty simple process, but it's one that many don't do. We have a tendency to have a smaller think. And I was just explaining to him, hey, I do everything that I talk about. I do myself. I'm not saying, hey, go out and do this, and I'm not doing it. Okay, I do it myself. And we ended up actually getting some other things put together kind of outside of this. So we want to make sure we lead by example, but this is one of the other key things of really bad sales managers. Number 11, lack of humility. Lack of humility or self-awareness. Nobody has all the answers. Okay, nobody has all the answers. And even if you do have the answer, there's nothing wrong if somebody else has an answer of using that answer. Because again, we're trying to make other people into stars. As a manager, I'm not trying to be the star. I'm trying to create stars. I'm trying to create new people. So stay humble. Number 12, we manage with fear, not fairness. Boy, this is a common one. I think most folks, this is maybe the default that I see in so many folks, is when we don't know how to do it, we manage with fear, not with fairness. And boy, it's not going to work. I mean, we want to draw people into us. We don't want to push them away. Okay? They need to look forward to seeing us coming. Hey, we're a resource center here to help make you better. Number 13, bad managers. They are complacent about poor performance or toxic team members. In other words, they'll tolerate bad attitude. They'll tolerate poor performance. They'll tolerate not turning in reports. They'll tolerate not getting things done. And if you're not on process, when you get that complacency, when you lose that discipline, it's the beginning of the end. Because at the end of the day, we have to have, follow the process, have a great attitude. That's really going to be the secret, okay? And we get complacent about folks that aren't producing. Yeah, that's just what they usually produce. Or, toxic team members, folks that have bad attitudes. I mean, I can't begin to tell you, how many operations I've gotten into, and we've improved business because of my recommendation of, hey, we need to remove some people from the payroll here because their attitudes aren't quite right. Because you get that negativity out, now all of a sudden, boy, you can really flourish in your gym. Number 14, doesn't follow through or recognize their own responsibilities. I mean, what are our responsibilities here? I mean, if we're a manager, my responsibility is to make you absolutely as good as you can be. Am I training? Am I holding 1-hour training sessions every week? Am I doing some kind of training every day? Am I making sure you're staying on process? I mean, one of the things that I always look at here is for any manager is we kind of view your gym, your business, your club. It's a big train going down the track, and part of the job is I'm going to pat it a little bit over here, and I'm going to pat it a little bit over here, just keeping it going straight. I'm not going to let it veer off. And so we have to follow through. We have to recognize our responsibility. This is one of the key elements of bad managers. They don't do this, okay? Or maybe they don't know to do it, or they don't know how to do it. Maybe it's not their fault in some cases. If we're an owner or a director, let's go in here and help these folks. If you're someone that needs help on some of this, give me a call. Numbers, in the description below, or click the link and hit me up for a free 45-minute strategy session. We can talk about some ways we can help you do this, because this can totally change the direction of your business, and will certainly change the direction of your sales. Okay, and then number 15, our last one, qualities of a bad gym sales manager. They don't live up to workplace values. And I guess in a general sense, what I mean here is they'll say one thing and do another. Okay? Or they're not completely honest or completely truthful. Or they'll try to beat the system. We're not trying to beat any system. Learn the rules and let's play it better than anybody else. That's what we're trying to do. Okay, so take a look at these, 15 unmistakable qualities of a bad gym sales manager. If this is you, let's get it fixed. If you need help, give me a call. Numbers below. You can text me. Okay, if you need help, we can help you do that. Sometimes we're making some of these mistakes because we just don't know what to do. I can think of when I first became a manager, Man, I may have been guilty on all of these, okay, or certainly many of them, okay, and I eventually, fortunately, figured it out. And it wasn't really my fault. I was promoted because I was good in sales, okay, but it was my responsibility to figure it out. Ultimately, it was my responsibility. So if you're in this mode, make it your responsibility to figure it out. If you're leading other managers, make it your responsibility to help create that atmosphere that allows a motivated person to act. So folks, if you found this content beneficial, please hit the like button. I appreciate it. If you've not yet subscribed, please do so. We look forward to seeing you on the next video.